The Muse headband. Can it really help calm the nervous system? Have you ever wished you could see what's happening inside your brain? Like actually know if your mind is calm when you think it's calm? Do you wonder what your brain is doing while you sleep? Hi, I'm Dr. Theresa Lyons, founder of Navigating AWEtism, where I teach parents the cutting edge science of autism so they can make the best decisions for their child based on quality information. Today, we are talking all about the Muse headband, what it measures, how it works, and whether it can really help calm the fight, flight, or freeze response that we've been talking about so much these past few months. I do want to thank Muse, who sent me the headband, and I've been testing it out for a few months now, so I definitely want to share this insight. What is the Muse? So the Muse is a wearable EEG device. I know, it's pretty amazing. EEGs, you might be thinking of, wait, that's what my child's neurologist does, right? And yeah, EEGs, when it's in the hospital, right, you're going to have many different probes on your head and it's in there with glue and everything. This is a really great headband. It's soft and flexible. And this wearable device, since it's an EEG, means it actually reads the electrical activity of your brain in real time. So you wear it across your forehead, behind the ears, like a little headband, and it connects to an app on your phone, and it can give you instant feedback when you meditate or when you're sleeping. So when you're meditating, instead of thinking, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? The Muse, if you select it, it gives you audio feedback. So if you select, let's say, rivers. So when your mind is nice and calm, and again, the EEG is measuring your brain waves, then the noise of that river is nice and calm. But if you're like, oh my gosh, what about this? What about this? What about this? It sounds like so you can hear just an audio of exactly what's going on in your brain. So it really gives you that neurofeedback into, all right, let me breathe. Let me focus on my breath. Let me let that thought go. So that neurofeedback is really great for meditation because you get that instant feedback as to whether or not, quote unquote, you're doing it right. And I will say there is no such thing as a bad meditation. None. Even if it feels like, oh man, I didn't do it right. You did it by sitting on the mat and actually putting in the time. That's how you strengthen the muscle. It starts somehow. Sometimes it starts with not having a good meditation. But keep going. All right, the science behind the Muse. So the Muse uses the EEG sensors, like I said, to pick up the brainwave activity, especially in areas associated with focus and relaxation. And so then it translates the signals into feedback, and that's how you can help train your brain to spend more time in calm, regulated states. Yeah, that's what neurofeedback is. And neurofeedback, there's research that shows neurofeedback can reduce anxiety and stress. We definitely need that. Improve focus and attention, super important, and also support better sleep. All three things that an autism parent definitely needs. And research shows that neurofeedback can help with emotional regulation. And that's key for us. It's also key for our children, and our children learn from us. So it's going to benefit your child greatly if you can get a handle on your emotional regulation. Not necessarily the easiest of things to do, but it's super important if you want to get out of that fight, flight, or freeze. You've got to break that pattern. And so focusing on emotional regulation is certainly key. Now, I'm fooling around with this headset, right? Having kind of fun, I gotta say. And I could not do this many years ago, right? When my daughter wasn't sleeping, I could not focus. I could not, oh my goodness, I was a mess, right? I probably wouldn't have been able to even operate this, right? So as you focus on your child and as they start to improve, then you'll start to notice yourself like, wow, I'm on edge. I'm on edge and I don't need to be. And I don't want to be. How do I unwind? So as your child gets better, you have to change as well. You can't stay stuck in, fight, fight or freeze, or like something bad is always going to happen. I have to be prepared. I have to be prepared. Yeah, you have to be vigilant. But as your child gets more and more healthy and is able to do things on their own and handle different things, then you've got to change just as much. And this is definitely where the Muse can come in. Muse and different things like this, they don't replace deeper healing or, therapies, but they can certainly help retrain the nervous system to recognize what calm, like real calm, actually feels like. And it might be several years since you've felt calm. And that's where the neurofeedback comes in, which is so helpful because you might think you're calm, but you're not. I thought I was sleeping well, but I was not. And I'll definitely get into sleep in a little bit. So there is a great game on here in Muse that helps improve concentration. So I've started playing around with it at night instead of scrolling, and it's actually quite satisfying to get this owl to fly. It definitely is fun, but it's not easy. I can't say I don't get it to fly all the time. And the funny thing is, sometimes I'm still so stressed and so like tight sometimes that I can't even get the sensors to work until I relax. A lot of times I hold this tension right here in these sensors, and when they don't fully connect, that's when I'm like, okay, breathe. Okay, breathe, relax. Like I've got to really tell myself, relax, because you're so stressed, you can't even use the Muse. So first step for me sometimes is de-stressing so I can actually use the Muse to train my brain to be more calm, which is kind of funny. So I find it funny. So with the game you pick, the session length, I usually just do 5 minutes. That's the way it stays fun and I don't need to be doing this for hours and hours. And there's this calibration period. And I really found calibration periods are ways for me to kind of tune in and prepare myself. And then the game starts. There's got this cool music. It's like dun. And I found it best if I start at 300 and count backwards by threes. That's really what gets my brain focused. And if I can maintain that, then the owl is just flying and it's super fun. So the music is encouraging. There's certain places where you can swipe and the owl goes faster, keeps track of total distance. So as a game, it is fun. It definitely is, but it is work. You are retraining your brain, but in a fun way. All right, the Muse headband also helps improve sleep by training the brain to enter calm, restorative states more easily. By measuring brainwave activity during rest, the Muse can give you insight into when your mind is truly relaxing versus when it's still active. Also, when you are awake, how much time you're spending awake, how much time you're spending in light sleep, in REM sleep, in deep sleep. There's a lot of data that you can get to understand your sleep. Now, I've actually changed my meditation time based upon the Muse. So I used to get up at around 4 a.m. to meditate for about an hour or so. I really loved that time because the house was quiet. I could just roll out of bed, get on the Zafu and Zabutan, which is just a meditation pillow, and start meditating. However, when I started tracking my sleep with the Muse, I saw how getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning was really killing my sleep. It was unbelievable. So I actually changed my meditation from 4 a.m. to about 5:30 or so. So this way I sleep all the way through the night. I try. We can get to that. I sleep all the way through the night and then I just wake up, meditate, and then go on with life. But it's really cool about all the data that the Muse tracks with sleep. So it turns out, even when I changed my meditation time from 4 a.m. to much later to like 5:30 or 6, my sleep score, the average was like 65. And there are a few nights where I got like an 80 and then a 92. And the person I was on those days was like a person I wanna be every day. Like, I wanna wake up that rested, that cheerful. I found when I'm getting sleep and my score is 65 or below, my thoughts are so negative. I just think, "Oh my gosh, I can't do anything. Everything's gonna be tough." I'm such a pessimist when I don't have quality sleep. So, what I'm going to do is I want to get an average sleep score of 80 for a week, and I think it'll take me like 3 months. I wanna really optimize a lot of different things. So, I wanna optimize different supplements. I wanna see if I take something, does that really help me or is it just kind of hype? So, I'll do YouTube shorts to go on this journey and have you come with me because this is gonna be quite fun to see in 3 months using the Muse, can I get an average sleep score of 80 or above? And I think I'd be a totally different person in front of you if I can get consistent 80 and above sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So it's a huge goal of mine. Definitely come along with me for the journey. And that's the goal. Let's see how the Muse can help me be a well-rested person that has a positive outlook on life naturally. Now, how can families use this? So I would recommend if you're a parent, start with yourself. Get to know the Muse, get to know how to use it, the ins and the outs, putting it on, how it positions particularly, and really start using it just 5-10 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be anything really super intensive. And use it to track progress, how things change. And for older kids, they might see you using it and say, "Hey, I want to try." So you might want to start them out with the game. So for kids, maybe who you've worked on a lot of different issues, and then the issue at school might be they need to focus more. Then again, this would be something that you could use to help train the brain in a neurofeedback way based on data how you can increase your child's ability to focus. And the most important thing about the Muse or anything like this is not about perfection. It's about awareness. And when you can understand your body's signals, you can respond in different ways. You might be able to respond with compassion instead of frustration as you would have in the past because now you have a lot more awareness of how am I feeling? So overall, I think the Muse is a great product. I'm very thankful that they sent it to me. I will continue to use it because I think I can be a much more amazing person and parent and everything if my sleep is greatly improved. And I think the Muse will help me get there. So join me on my YouTube shorts for the journey of using the Muse to create an average sleep score of 80 or above. Let's see how happy I could be when I'm getting consistent sleep like that. I'll have a video once a week and showing, okay, what did I do the previous week and how did my score change? And come learn the Muse with me. We all want better sleep so we can be better parents to our children. They certainly deserve that.